How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm glad we were finally able to connect. I know not your fault at all, but we just kind of ride with it when I'm trying to
Yeah.
connect with people. But I'm glad that a little bit of free time was able to creep in. Is soccer
Mhm.
season over?
Yeah. Softball.
Softball season now?
Yeah, it's over till January.
Okay. How'd they do?
Yeah. They did good. It's a traveling team, so fall really doesn't count for anything, but it's still super competitive.
Did you do sports when we were growing up, Jen? Did you do like
No.
baseball or because it's funny.
No.
I don't remember like softball for Ambler sports. I just remember like t-ball and
Yeah.
baseball, and girls played with the guys, and that was just kind of how it went.
I just did cheerleading for a little bit, like in elementary school and like grade school, up at North Penn. Do anything for Ambler sports or WIS or anything really.
It's funny. I was just looking. I was looking right before you came on, literally trying to find the picture of our. If you can see this,
Oh wow.
that's like I don't know, some school recital or something that we were doing, like second, third grade, maybe first grade at Madison.
Yeah, Madison back in the day.
So that's usually always my first question, but I know it. But did you start in kindergarten at Madison?
Yeah, I did Madison kindergarten through third, and then went to Shady, and then the middle school.
What part of Ambler did you grow up in? Because I was South Ambler, so I was like South Chestnut Street on the other side of the train tracks. But were you on the side of Madison Avenue?
Yes, like by Knights Park.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
grew
yeah,
up.
yeah. Knights Park was always like I never went down there because that's where the majors played baseball, and I was like a Pickering Field guy, and
Yeah,
right, Knights Park had like J&J.
yeah, I was right in the middle of all that. Green night.
Was it
Mm-hmm.
right J&J or JR's? What was it, that place where you like the little convenience store?
JNRs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's still there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Some things there's very few things
Yeah, we used
left.
to hang there all the time. Night.
There's very few things left in Ambler that are like still there. It was so
Yeah,
sad to see that Candida's is gone. So it's good to see that, good to hear that J&R's is still there.
I know.
So who were you hanging out with then?
Back then, really, Christina McDowell was always in the mix. She
Yeah.
was my steady Eddie.
Wait, you're
But
what?
then my steady Eddie, always there. Um, then it was like Kelly Brailsford, Suzette Kettner, Danielle Pitcher, um, people on and off. I went to tech school too, so I had a lot of friends from like North Penn
Yeah.
that I hung out with too. Um, they were the main ones I think that I like hung around with consistently.
So you were saying that you didn't do baseball. So then what were you doing? Like that was the cool thing about Ambler. It was so easy to play.
Right.
I'm always like bragging to people who grew up in Bluebell. And they're like, oh, I lived off of 202, so there wasn't much we could do. And it's like, for us, we had sidewalks and we could
Yep.
go. I remember, I would go up to Madison Avenue and play with Brandon Markcraft and Alex Mader, and
Yep.
like that was like a whole nother world compared to where I was living. For you,
Mm-hmm.
what were you doing with your girlfriends outside?
Really, we just walked around, and it's crazy. Like we didn't do much, but we were always doing something. But I can't say what we were doing.
Yeah.
Um, we would play like kickball and stuff a lot with like neighborhood kids and stuff like that, like in the back alley and stuff like that. But we didn't really do anything.
Was the friendship, do you think, based off of like Madison Avenue, like going to school there, living right in that kind of that pocket area in Ambler? Were your parents friends? What was the connection with Sue and Christina and
No, I think it was. you know, just, yeah, being in school together and all living around each other, you know, walking to school, walking home from school, things like that. We just built connections, that just always being around each other.
And you have just one sister?
No, I have
You have
three
two?
younger.
You have three
Three.
younger? So I
Mhm.
just knew Corinne. That was it.
Right.
So she was
So
immediately
then,
under you.
right. She was like a grade or two under us. And then Samantha is 4 years younger than me. And then
Wow.
Conchetta is 10 years younger than me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were the first one through Wissahickon.
Yes.
Where were your parents from?
My dad was from Jersey and my mom was from Ambler.
So did she go to Wissahickon growing up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's funny how common that is. The more I talk to people from Ambler, who I just know have always kind of lived here, that like all their parents went to, maybe it was Ambler High then, I don't know.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think it was called Wissahickon, but yeah, she went to Madison and all of them or whatever.
She went to Madison too.
I think so, yeah.
Did you get involved in anything in middle school? I know you mentioned like doing sports in like North Penn. Was that like, or cheerleading and stuff, but that wasn't at Wissahickon?
No, my daughter's looking at me because no, I wasn't involved in anything in school, sports clubs, anything. And that's one of my regrets. And I try to tell my kids that, like, I wish I had been pushed more to be a part of something in school. The only thing I really did was tech, which was great. But, you know, I wish I would have been more involved in something.
What would you do like on weekends or when you would come home from school when you were growing up? What was your, even like when you were younger, you know, like on weekends for me,
right.
playing baseball, right?
Right.
Or after school, I'd have like basketball practice or basketball
Right.
games at Madison or at Shady Grove or something. What's your nighttime or weekend fun? Did you do
During
brownies?
the week, I did when I was little. I don't really remember it that much. I think I only did for like a year or two. That's not like, I really didn't do after school. You know, my street and my neighborhood had so many kids in it, even younger kids. Like we would all just hang out like outside and stuff like that after school and at night. And then on the weekends, me and Christina would literally just wake up and I'm leaving my house. We'll meet in the middle and we just kind of like hung out and walked around and did stuff. We didn't.
It's funny. That's the stuff that I missed once I had to start doing things. Once I was like, not being forced, but like ask like, hey, do you want to do this? You want to do that? It's like, oh yeah, okay. And then like you kind of like, then you're realizing, oh man, on Sunday I can't just hang out. Like that's what Ray and I or Mike Mail and I, like we would just go to each other's house and go ride bikes for like 5 hours or like there'd be football just happening at the field up the street, or you know, or playing Nintendo in someone's basement for an entire day.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of that, like Nintendo, Monopoly, just like hang out in the basement and play games, listen to music. I think I had a karaoke machine at one point, and we would just
really
hang out. Yeah, just stuff like that. Not really, like I said, not really doing anything, but just hanging out and having fun.
Wait, does the karaoke machine back then like actually have words, or is it just a microphone, right, with a speaker?
Just a microphone.
Those are so annoying, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's all it was.
You're interrupting every dinner party with your parents. Be like, wait, I'm going to sing a song now. Someone yanked the batteries out of this thing.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
What were you into? Like, what did you want to be growing up as a kid? Did you have like any like crazy aspirations or dreams of like, oh, I saw this on TV, so I want to be this, or you know, I want to follow in my parents' footsteps of something, or
yeah, not really. It's funny because I was actually just going through some of my old like school stuff and things like that, cleaning out some of my mom's stuff, and everything said that I wanted to be a nurse. And people always say like, how did you know you wanted to be a nurse? And everyone always says like, oh, I always wanted to be that. And, you know, things like that. And I don't know why, you know what I mean? But it's just, I think it's my personality. I just being the oldest of 4 girls, and, you know, I've just always just taken care of people. So no real crazy ambition, but I think I just always knew that I wanted to do something in the healthcare field.
Interesting. Now I'm tempted here. I gotta look just because it's sitting here. I'm gonna pull out the Shady Grove yearbook because I know it always says like what you think you want to be when you grow up.
Oh, okay.
So let's see.
Let's see.
Future career, nurse.
See?
5th grade.
Yeah.
Wow. Favorite movie, Sister Act. Hobby,
Oh my God.
cheerleading.
Dang.
So what is the cheerleading that you're doing? Like, is it just like you and your friends at someone's house or on the sidewalk doing cheers, or are you actually going somewhere?
No, I actually did it for North Penn Squires, cheered for their football team.
Is that like a little league football team?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And then my mom actually coached for a little while. And then my dad, even though there were no boys, he coached the football.
Oh, interesting.
While we cheerleaded. Yeah.
Growing up in a house full of girls.
Mm-hmm.
Only child, no sister. So for me, I have no concept other than occasionally seeing like my guy friends fighting with their sisters.
Oh.
But I always hear it's worse with sister on sister. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. I don't know how my parents did it, especially us all being so close or whatever. But yeah, we were always at each other's throats, especially me and Corinne, the one right under us. I mean, we would come home from school and just go at it. Why? I don't know why. We're best of friends now. I couldn't tell you why, what it was about, but we were always just at each other's throats, one of us with the other. And then I was like the protector of the little ones. Like, I just found a card that the third in line, Samantha, wrote me a birthday card. And in it, she thanked me for always protecting her from Corinne. But now the 4 of us are inseparable. And I try to tell my girls that too. Like, one day you guys are going to be best friends, you know? But back then we loved each other, but we hated each other all the time too.
Yeah. Did you ever like, do you do like sleepovers and stuff like as girls? Like, you've got all these sisters, but then is it like, okay, leaving to go hang out with like Christina, Suzette, and do sleepovers? What do like girls do for
Definitely.
sleepovers?
Yeah, we would. I mean, so Christina and her sister Melissa were like mine and Corinne's age. So the 4 of us kind of like, me and Corinne would go to Christina's for the weekend. They would come to my house for the weekend. So in that aspect, Corinne was always involved whenever Christina was over. If it was like Suzette or somebody else, then like she'd get kicked out of the room for the night or something like that.
Oh, did you guys share? You guys share bedrooms?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that's so Full House.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There was always at least 2 of us to a bedroom, and then my sister, she got pregnant young. She was 16. So she had my nephew. So at one point it was all of us and a newborn.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like me, Corinne, and the newborn shared a room. And then the other 2 shared a room. And then my parents had a room because we grew up in a row home. So it was only 3 bedrooms. So yeah, it was always a full house in my house. My house was always the house that all the neighborhood kids came to and hung out. And my mom never worked. She babysat kids out of the house while we grew up. So it was always a full house.
You mentioned tech school. When did you start that? Did you go all the way? Did you start in 9th grade going to tech school?
Yeah, I did. I started in 9th and went all the way through 12th for nursing.
So your plan was, you already knew you wanted to be a nurse, and so you just wanted to start that process?
Yeah. Then. So I actually, yeah. So the tech school got me certified as a nursing assistant. So I was able to start working, doing, in the nursing field in my senior year. I started at Artman.
And were you getting paid to do that, or is that part of school credits? Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I got paid to do it.
How did you know in ninth grade when do you know, like, okay, like tech, I don't remember what the rollout is for tech school. Like, how do you know about tech school? How do you know that this is something that you can go to nursing for?
I remember my guidance counselor coming to me about it in middle school and suggesting it. I'm not sure. I can't remember why. I don't know it. I think when we were doing course selection or something, it came up and they brought it up to me.
Right.
And me and Suzette agreed to do it. Right. Me and Suzette Kettner did it with me. We went together.
That's interesting. Do you like have I don't know. I overthink everything. So I feel like I don't know. Maybe back then though I wasn't as bad. I thought I was gonna go into theater and I was just doing that. But were you ever like, okay, did you know that this is the career? Like, I know you wanted to do it, but are you thinking that heavily into, okay, here we go, and in 4 years, here's where I'll be?
No, not really. I think honestly at that time I was thinking, oh, I don't have to be in school all day, kind of thing. I wasn't thinking like, oh, this is going to help me in my life career or anything like that. I think it was, you don't have to take as many classes and stuff like that kind of thing.
That was, I've talked about it with quite a few students about like, the tech school stigma. And I just recently talked with Mrs. McCracken, who we were both had English with together, same class.
Yeah.
And I forgot the term techies, and that's what everyone used to call. Did you perceive any backlash or like a stigma from students? I don't know if that's a thing that like guys only put out towards other guys of, oh, he's a techie. Does that transfer to the girls in school? Did you feel that at all, or that reputation?
I don't think as much. I mean, I think there was that persona that like the bad kids go to tech or whatever. But I never felt like a persona or anything like that. No, I don't think it carried over as much.
What else, when you're there at tech school, are you doing other things, or are you focused strictly on like nursing classes?
Yeah, I think some people do other things, but for me, it was strictly just nursing. So I had like lab these days where we were like learning skills and stuff like that. And then, like medical terminology these other days and, things like that.
That's so fucking useful. I apologize if your kids are in the room, but
no, please,
damn it. Like that is just like so useful compared to, I was talking to Adam Salter last week, and you're talking about the Pythagorean theorem and these things that we just don't use in any type of everyday life, and how I wish, I knew how to change the brakes on my car, or at least my oil, or install an air conditioner without 7 different tries, or not at all, or I mean, like, it's just so many things. And like here, this being what you do, and you're learning that so early. Literally the only thing I can compare to in my life is like learning how to operate a camera in some aspect in TV lab, but that was just like total accident, and most schools don't even have TV labs. So it's so useful. You got 4 years of that. Did you ever think of like going to college for that, or did you go to college for that?
I did. So I went to Monco for 4 years and got my associate's degree. And that's all you need to, like, I could sit for my state boards with my associates. So I read that out for a long time, just my associates, and worked as a nurse. And then just recently I went back to school and got my BSN. I think I finished a year and a half ago, maybe. I went to Holy Family.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Why Monco? Why staying local? Why going right into the workforce? Was that always the plan? Did you have thoughts of like going to nursing school somewhere else? Did you ever think about going up beyond nursing, be an RN, to be a doctor, or anything like that? Did you ever think while you're in the process, like,
So I am so much not a school person. I had no ambitions to go off to a university somewhere or anything like that. I am a get through it by the skin of my teeth type of person. So, um, I've thought of, I mean, with what I do right now, so I direct a 61 bed skilled nursing rehab unit. So I'm not really on the floor nursing anymore. I'm more like administration and stuff like that. So it's a great job. It's flexible with me and the kids. So I thought about becoming like a nurse practitioner or anything like, or something like that. But what I do right now, I love it and it works for me and the family. So
yeah, I said RN, I meant NP.
yeah, no, that's okay.
Once upon a time, I did medical education, so I'm like rattling off the little bits that I still remember before it's gone from my head forever. How did you like Monco?
I liked it. I mean, it was small. It was in my comfort zone. It was familiar, it wasn't bad. I met some, new people, some people that I, knew already were still there, things like that.
I always felt like Monco was like a coming of age. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life or anything like that. I had no clue, like, from a media standpoint, like what I was doing, how to create stuff. And the 2.5 years I did there with my associates, like, really helped me like zone in on how to create stuff and what my lane more or less was.
Right.
Did Monco help you progress? Like you talked about like you're off the floor now. Did you ever see like career aspirations like that prior, like when you were at was it Hicken, when you were in tech school? Did Monco help like kind of center you into more of a specific as far as what you want to do in nursing?
It did, just because I was out in hospitals, when I finally got to the nursing program, I was out in different hospitals doing clinicals and stuff like that. And, talking with the instructors and the other people in the class, like, really helped me see that I didn't really like the hospital setting, or, I work with geriatrics. That's my comfort zone. I love, just taking care of the elderly. So, I originally thought I wanted to be like OB and work in maternity. But after I did that rotation, of course you love it. You're bringing babies into the world and things like that. But, again, I just always, I tried different things and I just always went back to geriatrics.
Do I remember your grandfather used to always like walk Ambler, right? When you mentioned geriatrics,
Yep.
I feel like I used to always see your grandfather on Butler Pike.
Yep. All the
taking
time.
his strolls, right?
Yep. He walked everywhere. He walked all around Ambler. He would take the train to South Philly every Saturday to see his brothers and sisters and walk around there. Yeah. Yeah. My mom would find random pictures of him like in newspapers and stuff, like just like in the background. Like it was like, where's Waldo all the time.
Oh, that's awesome. Strolling by.
Yep.
That's funny. You mentioned like music. Did you have anything that was like a favorite of yours growing up in like the high schoolish era?
The high schoolish era was my like rap and hip hop days.
Everyone.
Yeah. DMX, Jay-Z, me and Christina with that karaoke, we used to, try to learn all the songs to all the words to DMX songs.
Wait.
Practice.
With the karaoke machine that you had as like a kid? Like
Yeah, we would like stop it and start it and like try to get every word down.
Were you a wall tape deck kid? Did you get the tapes from the wall?
Yes, the wall, yeah. It's so funny now, my kids don't even know like what a record store is or anything. They just download all their music and you know, I'm like, we used to go to the wall and, you know, do all this stuff, and, you know, they don't.
Spend hours there.
Right. We were talking the other day about like waiting for a song to come on the radio and then recording it on your boombox or whatever.
Yes. You know, I always hated those songs that started first line.
Yeah.
Right? First line. The two I can think of is I think Basket Case by Green Day. And I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston. Because right, it just comes in and you're like, ah shit, and you're trying to press real quick. Yeah, so on your tape it always starts, the song starts with should stay.
Yeah. They'll never know the struggles.
And when you would tape songs, you memorized like songs by where they start and stop. Like I could sing a song and go right into whatever the next song is by whatever I tape next, and like it would be a seamless transition, like it was the same exact song.
Yeah.
It's funny, like I wasn't into DMX as much in high school. He was too rough for me, and I was a big Mace fan. And it took till Volume 2 for me to like Jay-Z, Hard Knock Life, Can I Get all that stuff.
Yeah. I think I got into Jay-Z a little bit later too. Sean was really into Jay-Z, and I think that's when I started, you know, listening to him more, was when I started hanging with Sean a little bit more.
Yeah, he said we had an inside joke of a Biggie song of a Big Papa all the time. So it's, I can see that he was the hip hop guy.
Yeah. Now he's the country guy.
Really, country music?
Oh yeah.
Where do you get in with that too then?
Yeah. He started listening to it. I think it was right after our first daughter was born. And I was like, you're crazy. I'll never like country music. Like,
Rough Riders.
Now I love it. Yeah.
I actually like country music too. It's funny. You know, I was thinking about all those on the dating profiles and stuff. When they used to ask like your favorite music, and everyone would always put like inherently like, oh, I like everything except country music. And I was thinking like, I would never put that now. I actually like I love Johnny Cash and maybe like 1 to 5 country songs of like modern country songs I'll catch and I'll be like, oh, I like this. I'm adding this to the list. It's so funny how our tastes evolve.
Yeah.
As we get older.
Yeah.
It was the stigma. Country had such a stigma when we were growing up in the 90s. It
did, yeah.
Garth Brooks, big hats, line dancing, achy breaky heart.
I'll never forget. I really got into it. My aunt, Sean had just started getting into country music, and we were at a family function, and my aunt was like, oh, we have 2 extra tickets to this Jason Aldean concert. And Sean was like, he's like really liked him then. And he was like, yeah, we'll go. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, all right, fine, we'll go. And the crowd and just the people, and it was just the best time. And like, I was like, all right, I'm hooked. Like, started downloading all this country music.
Did you get to concerts in high school?
Yeah. So in high school, it was really like boy bands, like Backstreet Boys. Me and Kim Devaney went to an NSYNC concert when we graduated. Those kind of concerts. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And I'm still into the boy bands. I just got my New Kids on the Block tickets.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're still doing their thing, and they're sometimes on tour with Backstreet Boys, right?
Yeah. So actually, me and Christina went to a New Kids Backstreet Boys concert a couple years ago, and then this summer we're going to their mixtape tour.
When you were in Wissahickon, did you have a favorite class? I know you were gone for your electives, but did you have anything that you actually enjoyed?
Like I said, I was not a school person.
Yeah, what kind of student were you? Were you B's, C's?
Don't D's? Look at me. No, I was like a C student. Like a C student. If I had to have a favorite class, it would probably be like English. I remember you know, I didn't read a whole lot, but like Hamlet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mrs. Patterson's English class, you know, was pretty cool. So if I had to pick something that I liked, I would probably say, you know, English or whatever.
Was it Hamlet specifically, or were you into Shakespeare at all? Were you in that
I
craze?
think I was, yeah, I think I was into Shakespeare. I remember Hamlet. I remember Othello. Like a lot of his stuff that we had to read, I liked. So
Julia Stiles, Mckay Pfeiffer.
yeah, yes.
Right, everything was like there was a point in our, I feel like in our high school, middle school to high school area, where like just all these uh Shakespeare movies were coming
Yeah.
out.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Leo, were you a Leo, Romeo and Juliet guy?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Did you have a favorite movie?
Not not really a favorite. I mean, I like so much. There's
Give me three.
I'm trying to think of the movies that like whenever I see them on TV, like I have to watch it. Remember the Titans is one.
Oh yeah.
Of course, like the classics like Rocky and stuff like that. Like, and then probably, I don't know, like there's corny movies like Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh yeah. I've never seen it.
No.
No, I feel like Fear is the only Reese Witherspoon movie I've ever seen. You know,
Yeah,
Fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
We'll feel that tomorrow. So when do you remember meeting Sean?
It was late. It was like 11th grade.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, we really didn't hang out. I mean, even though he lived in Ambler too, I forget. I think he moved to Ambler in 7th grade. He was in Penland before that.
Right.
But we didn't really start hanging out or even really like talking or anything until like 11th grade.
Did you know, like, Ambler's small, so did you like know of him?
Yes and no. I feel like, so his younger brother Dave and Corinne were in the same grade, and I remember them hanging out. So like I knew of him more because of Dave, not really know him like he was in my grade and stuff like that. It was weird. Like,
That's almost better, right? Like I feel in Ambler, if you had known him and you already like weren't interested, it probably would have been for something more negative, like in our town, right? Like everyone kind of knows everyone's bad business, so
yeah, it's
good that it's almost like a kind of like a fresh face for you.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the dating like in Ambler? You know, I didn't know what to do in Ambler. So I never, I never knew like where do you take somebody? What do you do? Did you guys go on? Do you remember dates? Were you just going like to each other's houses?
A lot of it was just like hanging out at each other's house, but we did go on dates. We went to like not really an Ambler though. We would go like roller skating or go-karting. I'm trying to think of what else we used to do. Things like that. Bowling.
Yeah, like Garden Golf. Was that the go-kart place?
Garden Golf. Yeah, I was trying to think of the name of it. Golf. Yeah.
Or Freddie Hill Farms. Was that a?
Yeah. Yeah, little mini golf.
And if I remember correctly, he kind of like remembers like being very into like once he was like into he was very into I think senior year or something. It was like without a doubt for him. Did you feel the same way?
Yes. No, I mean he's just such a great person. Once you start hanging out with him and just, yeah, I felt the same way.
How did any of that play into like staying in the area once school was going to be
Well,
over?
not really. He actually went away. He went to Shippensburg right
Right.
after school. Right. So, um, no, I mean, I think if I wanted to, I would have went away, regardless of our relationship.
I think he said he came back a lot, right? Like after a while, he started just coming back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. He would
Um,
travel back and forth a lot.
so then while he's gone for you, are you like you just got done like doing like school or doing high school together?
Hmm.
Was the time away in the initial time like scary, good? You were so busy with school and work anyway, didn't barely pass,
Yeah.
time passed quick.
Yeah. I mean, it did pass quick. I was, working a lot back then, at Artman. It passed pretty quick, and he did come home a lot, probably way more than he should have. Um, but yeah, it wasn't bad.
Are you working at all before you're able to get paid at Artman? Are you doing any work during like high
So
school time?
I worked at Clemens. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was a cashier at Clemens. So I worked basically from the age of 14 up. I started working at 14 at our church, like answering phones in the rectory after school and on weekends and stuff like that. And then I worked at Clemens until I started working at Artman.
It's funny. Tony Antonucci worked in the rectory when
Hmm.
we were high school too, and I was so jealous of that job because I remember my first job was McDonald's, and I hated it. I was there for I always remember 8 months, and I remember it was 8 months because in my 2 week I wrote a 2 week notice to my boss to tell him I was quitting and going to Wawa, and I go, it's been a great 8 months, but I need to make more money. So that's why I remember it was 8 months. But I
Oh my God.
always wanted to just have a job, like sitting in the
Yeah.
rectory, like answering. I remember just thinking, like, that just seems like a job I could do.
Anyone could do it.
Yeah. Um, and then Clemens, how long were you there? I guess from
Mm,
right 15. Or you
I
can't work there till you're like 16, right?
16, I think. Yeah. So I guess like a year or two I worked at Clemens.
Um, that's such an Ambler institution.
I know. I know.
Everyone worked there.
I know. Yeah.
Um, what was like for you? What was like your party life like? I didn't, stated a million times on this podcast. I didn't party at all. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I didn't like do anything. Mainly because my friends were all friends with each other's. My friends' moms were
Mhm.
friends with each other's moms or with my mom,
Right.
and so there was no like sneaking around. My friends just didn't do it. What was your world like? Did you go to parties?
Um, I went to some parties, not a lot. Um, you know, Christina being my best friend, we used to sneak around a lot together. Our parents weren't really friends, so we would do the whole I'm sleeping at Christina's, she's sleeping at my house thing, and you know, go out and about. But I feel like it was later where we really started going to like real parties or whatever. Um, I remember she had one house party that was crazy. She was house sitting for somebody, and she threw a party, and it was insane.
The old house sitting party.
Yeah. Oh my God. The house got trashed too. We got in so much trouble.
Yeah, do you get busted along with that? Like you were there? Like do you get,
Yeah.
hey, do you know where your daughter was last night?
Her mom covered for me a lot.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Her mom was one of those moms that would, cover and, lie for me. So her mom would hold me accountable and stuff like that, but she never really ratted me out to my parents unless it was, like really bad.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um when you say sneak out, was it just like just lying about where you were going, or were you doing actual physical sneak out the side window?
We would do that when we slept at my house, because like Ambler, we'd sneak out and walk around town and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, I feel like the Ambler like sneak out is like just walking Orange Street or something.
Yeah.
Seeing who was out in their front yard or on their porch.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So we would sneak out at my house, but we wouldn't really do anything. But
just the stroll.
Yeah.
How do you get back in?
Well, we would literally just like walk out the door and walk back in. My parents,
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to sneak out of my house.
So then when did you have your first daughter?
I had Ange, I was 25, 26, 25.
Did you always want a big family, and did you always want all girls?
Yeah, I always wanted a big family. I don't know that I always wanted all girls. I mean, I definitely wanted girls because I saw, me and all my sisters and my mom were so close. I wanted that, mother-daughter relationship. But I knew Sean wanted a boy too. So by the grace of God, we got one.
Yeah, your final one, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think I asked him, was he worried? And he seemed like totally into the girl dad, the whole girl dad thing.
Yeah, no, he is. He's now that they're getting older, it's hard. He grew up with all brothers. Do you know what I mean? So, now him raising teenagers, it's interesting. But,
so you weren't scared off by you and your sisters fighting? Of now you're the referee.
Yeah, no, they're at that phase right now where they're constantly fighting, but it didn't scare me off. I knew they'd get past it.
Do you, compare to Wissahickon now that your daughters are doing North Penn? How do you feel? Do you like it? Like, as far as like what you went through and what your sisters went through, was North Penn so much bigger?
Bigger, yeah. I was really hesitant moving into the North Penn district because of the size of the school. And that's one of the reasons I'm so adamant about them, doing a sport or being a part of something, because, you can get lost in a school that big, so I feel like if they're a part of something smaller, they can be more grounded or whatever in that huge district. But so far it's been good. I mean, Ange is now at the middle school. She's at the biggest of the three. There's 3 middle schools in North Penn. She's at the biggest. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's so weird because of COVID. So like she started off her middle school career virtual,
Oh, wow.
So they went back last year when they could. So she, got half of a year in, but even still, they don't have lockers. They can't use their locker. They have to carry all their stuff to minimize like congestion in the hallways. So it's still not like the full middle school experience. But it's been good.
Did you drive? It was Wissahickon?
I didn't drive. No, I didn't get my license until I think like my second semester at Monco.
Really?
Yeah.
Super late bloomer.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Ambler, I would walk everywhere. And then I met Sean and he had his license and he would drive me, around and to school and stuff like that. So I didn't really need a license until I was in college and my mom was dropping me off. And I was like, oh, maybe I should get my driver's license.
Even was he driving you to and from Artman too for work and stuff?
Well, he worked a lot too. So I guess if he wasn't working, he would take me, or my parents would take me.
Well, let's take a look, because I always like to take a look at the yearbook.
Okay.
Oh, have you seen your, I didn't show you the picture, but have you seen your Shady Grove?
No, I don't think I have. I'm kind of scared to see it.
Let's see here. We've got to be careful because the pages don't all stay together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, cheerleading, nurse, favorite books, The Sunburn, Sister Act's your favorite movie, Mermaid Lake was your favorite memory.
Oh, Mermaid Lake.
All right, so now let's see the goods here.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
My senior portrait. I think I actually made my mom pick me up so I could redo my hair before I took my picture.
Did you have any some people have talked about some embarrassing 90s-esque trends with their hair, as far as the stuff they used to do with like the gels and the curling, and the guys have talked about the sun in. Was there anything you were doing special here with your hair during these times that was that you left back in high school?
the only thing people talk about, I used to have like the big bangs, like with the big brush and like big bangs. Other than that, no, it wasn't anything crazy. I permed and dyed my hair a couple times, probably when I shouldn't have. But
did you ever like look at yourself as like part of a clique, or like see yourself like slotted in like a, I don't know, a stereotype of this type of kid or this type of girl, or these are the popular kids and I am blank?
Yeah, not really. I would definitely say I wasn't part of a clique or anything like that. I kind of, like I said, had, was friends with this person for a little bit and then this person, and I didn't really have like a group that I can say I was a part of from 9th through 12th grade or anything like that. It was always just kind of who I was friends with that during that time period or whatever.
Yeah, your list of names that you kind of said, like from Kelly to Danielle, Suzette, like all different groups of people. Very Ambler, but still different groups.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was just.
It's funny because Kelly mentioned that it was hard for her to have like friends and stuff because her parents were so strict, and so
She had very strict parents.
Yeah, you were probably one of the few that like actually had permission for her to interact with.
Yeah, I mean, I would go like her parents were strict, but they were, I would go over to her house and I felt comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. They were nice. They were just, her dad was in the military. She was a military, moved everywhere and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So HOSA. What is HOSA?
HOSA.
You were part of this from 9 through 12.
Oh, it's Health Occupation Students of America. It's the tech thing. Oh, it's like that was the nursing part of tech school.
Oh, okay. Okay, so your quote, and you're one of the few that you got a quote above your actual like farewell to people. Your whatever you're saying. So you've got a quote from Madonna, "Express yourself."
Mm-hmm.
Big Vogue fan at the time?
Oh, yeah.
I would like to think was that like a Vita too, right? Did you grow up a Madonna fan?
Yeah. I mean, my mom was a huge Madonna fan. We had Madonna cassette tapes and things like that. We actually went to her concert with my mom. I forget when, but yeah, big Madonna fan.
Favorite Madonna song?
Favorite Madonna song would probably be either Express Yourself or Material Girl.
Okay. I'm a borderline guy myself.
Oh, borderline. That's a good one. Mm-hmm.
I would like to thank my parents. I couldn't have done it without you. I love you guys. Corinne and Christina, you are my best friends. And I do need to point out, you are using U's and R's like letters, which is like very like pretexting.
Yeah.
This is, I guess this is instant messenger at this point,
Yeah.
slang. Or beeper, right? Beeper messaging.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
kudos,
beeper.
kudos to you, because I haven't seen that in other people's entries here. Connie and Sam, thanks for being there. Sean, I'll love you forever. True. Pam,
Check.
you're my girl for life. Who is Pam?
She was from tech school.
Okay.
She was my best friend. She went to North Penn.
Much love to LL. I was looking at these earlier and I just went, there's no way I'm going to know any of these. And I was wondering how many could be from tech school. The only LL I can think of is Lauren Levitt.
It wouldn't have been her.
Maybe it's a tech school. Okay, we've got a KD.
Probably Kim Devaney.
Oh, okay. JH.
JH.
Oh, a minute.
Sean, buzz in if you know it.
I'm listening, but I can't think of it.
I don't know.
MM.
I don't know.
And this last one is AQ.
I know that one.
Yeah.
It was Corinne's boyfriend at the time. Yeah.
Well, I think that's like everything. I don't know. Again, if was there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to talk about? I don't know. Did you want to say anything about your mom? I don't want you to,
Yeah.
I don't want to make you emotional on the podcast if you don't want to be, but.
No. Yeah. I mean, my mom was the best person. It's just fine. After you go through something like that, like nothing else is comparable anymore to me. You know what I mean? Like the worst can happen and I've already been through it. So
yeah. I just remember, as we were going through this and we were trying to schedule and it was all going on at the time, I just felt for you. And of course I just remember your mom so much, so vividly from like every, any event at Madison, my mom would be there, your mom would be there. And that would often be while, and I think I mentioned this to Sean, like while we kind of grew up, I didn't know you extremely well, but one of the things that always kind of tied people together was, I mentioned your grandfather and just, you recognize people's family and you just always knew. And so your mom was always like, and you guys look so much alike, was just like, always thought of you. And I always remember your mom being around. So,
yeah. She was the best. So,
and on a happy note here, tell me about you and Sean as now it's been 20 plus years.
Yeah. Yep, it's been a while. Here he is.
There he is.
What's up, man?
Sean? What's up, man?
How we
How's your
doing?
beard? I've trimmed mine.
I was looking.
Wow.
All right. Not bad.
Tell him to trim it, Brad.
No shave November, right? You gotta let it go for November. You know what I mean?
Mine was like about to here, and it just became too much to keep maintaining. I was just finding hair everywhere.
Yeah, it's not.
I just figured I would start over.
Hey. Well, it takes you what, like a day or two to get to that point?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I just shaved. I went clean shaved yesterday, so this is where I'm at.
Awesome.
Sean's not that lucky.
No, I haven't stopped, and this is as far as it gets in years. So
man,
crazy.
How much you guys reflect back, like on your past, growing up together? That's like such a special thing, especially now with like dating apps. Everyone's kind of like, well, how'd you meet? It's like, oh, well, we met on this app. We met on this app. And we met when we were 32, or we met when we were 29, or even, we met right after college in my first job, or you guys known each other since, remember each other since you were 16, 17, but essentially known each other way earlier.
Right.
Do you guys reflect on those times, or is that few and far between now?
Yeah, no, I think we do a lot, reminisce and just, talk about, we talk about it a lot with the kids, what it was like growing up, in Ambler and, together and, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we do.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite spot in Ambler, both of you. My last question. Favorite like Knights Park?
I would just say outside of my house growing up, just sitting on the steps. That was my favorite spot. Like I don't know.
Well, that's what we were saying.
Candidas.
Yes, man. Candidas was the spot.
Yeah.
Always
going there.
I'll end it on that. Praise the Candidas.
Yeah.